about sports.
All right there, fungos. You like to be called a fungo?
Got some pop there, buddy.
It's a funny word, isn't it? Fungo.
It is a good word. It's not your nickname, but it's a good word.
Who was the guy who used to hit him to Ruth, the old guy who was the Angels, Jimmy Reese? Wasn't he a great fungo hitter?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Great fungo hitter, wasn't he,
He's
Jimmy
a
Reese?
Fungo Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He'd be in it. We got Chris Morpheus Fletcher.
Morpheus.
Oh, Gary, the Cataclysm.
I'll take it.
And I'm Dave Pincher Finoli.
That relates to our last show, does it not?
It does. It does. Make sure the hours are going the right way there, Pincher.
Did you check the patty between shows?
All my nurse background wife said, well, if they're going the other way, you got a serious problem. You're going to be taking more than Ducalax.
All right. Woo. Well, first, before we go on, I want to wish you both a happy Pittsburgh wins a World Series day. A day that we can celebrate, yet tortures us that it happened on one day, so we can remember the fact we're now the longest tenured National League team without a National League pennant. But on this day, 48 and 40 years ago, we won both the 1971 and the 1979 World Series.
Isn't that interesting? I never knew it was the same day. It's interesting.
And ironically, this is episode number 35. Number 35.
There you go.
Well, in 1909, they won on the 16th, right? Because I remember reading something when Wagner was interviewed, he was talking about the Ketchel-Johnson fight, which took place, I think, the Pirates won the World Series, I think, the next day or the same day or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Wagner, it was the 16th of October. So middle October was good in Pirate history.
It was good in Pirate history for short periods of time.
Yeah.
Although if you aren't going to be in a lot of World Series, at least you won 5 of the 7.
Yep.
Or at least you won the damn things.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I also want to congratulate the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, one of your favorites, Gare.
I saw something on this, yeah.
Well, if they beat Birmingham this Sunday, they have clinched the Eastern Conference title. The Eastern Conference it's not set up in divisions. The conferences have like 18 teams in them each, so it's quite an accomplishment to win a conference.
Yeah.
But if they do that, or on Saturday, and I know you'll be looking at this, should Nashville lose to Atlanta, then the game against Birmingham doesn't matter. Should Nashville tie Atlanta, we would need to tie Birmingham to win the conference. But nonetheless, we will have a playoff game here, not this Saturday, but next Saturday for one of the very few. I only think last year was the only other time we've hosted a playoff game.
I remember there was a playoff game on television last year there.
Yeah. So this is the second time in 20 years, and this will actually be the next round. We were in a play-in last year, so this is best Riverhound team ever. So congratulations. As we look at our other teams kind of falling by the wayside, at least here's a team that we certainly can give some congrats to and be proud of. So I will be at that playoff game on the 26th. So.
How many teams go to the postseason? 8? Is it 4 in each conference, or what do they do?
10 in each conference. There's 4 of them go to a play-in game, and then they go to a normal quarterfinal.
Okay. So winning it, winning it's a pretty good accomplishment then. Yeah.
No, it's very, especially considering the fact they stunk the first month of the season and were in last place. So move up 20 teams in that period of time.
Hard to do.
I think they've only lost once or twice since then. But, anyways, nonetheless, sad times in boxing this past week. A guy who killed a boxer is certainly sounds absolutely like he's going to need some help. He sounds Cleveland boxer sounds very devastating. Gare, why don't you talk a little about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen a little bit of Day he's boxed on Showtime a little bit. I mean, you know, it's amazing just in boxing too how these things come in rashes like this.
Yeah.
You know, like a number of years back, there was like a bunch of DQs and high-profile fights with, you know, guys hitting each other when they were on the ground or low or something. There was like 3 or 4 of them happened in a short period of time, and it's the same thing with these kind of tragedies. Like this is like this is 3 of them now in about 4 months.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to get the usual outcry, and, you know, you can expect that. I mean, I didn't see this one, so I can't really make a lot of quality commentary on it. I guess I'm a little bit surprised, though, because it sounds like, you know, it was a pretty competitive fight, but Day wasn't taking a serious beating. At least it appeared to the outside. But I guess just the way he was getting hit, perhaps. Now, he was knocked down a number of times late. That goes back to his corner, from what I understand. But he was in the fight early, at least.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's hard to figure out. I just think there's no exact science to it. I mean,
There's not.
there just isn't. And I think, unfortunately, when the fight goes too long and the punishment's repeated, you know, he's a little bit bigger weight than you usually see this. Usually you see it like under 140 pounds or more, just because it's a repetitive beating over a long period of time. But, you know, I mean, it's in a way, as barbaric as the other combat sport looks, it's not as dangerous because the fights don't go as long.
Doesn't seem to be.
You get clipped, you're stopped, and you're out. They stop it. And when you get a guy on the floor now, because of the public outcry against the TV ratings, they stop it quicker. Whereas the boxing, that long-term tenured.
Now, Gare, was the public outcry against the violence or against the TV ratings?
I think the TV ratings probably, because it was so violent. If you look at all that MMA stuff years ago, it was legalized assault more than it is now. It still is. Both of them are. But they stop it much quicker, Dave. When they get that guy on the ground, they stop it much quicker now. And I think there's probably a liability aspect. You know, the bigger the UFC, for example, even these other organizations' pockets get, the more likely somebody's going to claim that someday. So I think there's a combination, both TV,
it does seem safer.
Public outcry, right, financial, and honestly, you know, the crews are short anyway. I think probably the fighters and their handlers are saying, look, you know, a loss in that's not perceived the same way it is in boxing. But it's just a shame. I mean, it really is. It's a shame because there's no exact way to predict it happening. The only thing that some of the commentators sometimes make, and I didn't see this one, you see that the guys take like the Russian guy, Dadashev. You got to just stop a guy from taking that kind of pounding. You know, if it starts becoming 4 or 5 rounds of just repeated hits and too many punches, just stop it. Just stop it, because you're looking at most of the times when you have these things happen, that's usually the reason.
Yeah.
It's just too long. Too long, too many. So, shame. Really is.
Any good stuff coming up?
I mean, it's an interesting, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I mean, I think a couple good things, though. I have to note that Tyson Fury and Cain Velasquez, who was a good one in the UFC, are going to appear in WWE. I have to point that out because I mean, that's certainly a circus, and it's not, you know, boxing or other, you know, the MMA. But I mean, you gotta love Fury, though. He just knows how to grab attention. Mm-hmm. I think tomorrow night, most people don't know who these guys are, but you better be comfortable with East Europe fighters if you're going to watch boxing. Tomorrow night, you have Alexander Vozdik. He's a Ukrainian, decorated amateur. Didn't get the same amateur background, though, as the guy he's fighting, a guy by the name of Artur Beterbiev, who beat Sergey Kovalev, who I talked about a couple weeks ago, who's been a great pro twice in the amateurs. I can't get to it tomorrow night, even though it's in Philadelphia up at Temple, but that could be one hell of a fight. These two guys are both undefeated. They don't have a long pro career because those guys stay in those amateur programs so long. But in that light heavyweight, now Canelo Alvarez is inserting himself into it, and why? It's money. Kovalev, Russian. Bivol, Russian. Vozdik, Ukrainian. Another guy, Alexander Usyk, who's a little bit bigger, is going to move up to heavyweight. And I think he has a chance to beat some of the smaller heavyweights, Ukrainian. All of the good fighters that you're going to see on television regularly, whether you hate the names and are not American or not, if you watch them, they're all supremely talented, in condition. And these guys, if they fight each other over a period of time, it's not going to beat Duran, Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, but it's going to be some damn competitive fights. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow night because, ironically, Vosnik's like the Washington Nationals. He was the least regarded of Bivol, Beterbiev, Kovalev, Golovkin even coming out of the Russian programs and the East Europe programs. And damn it, he's been the best one, and he's pulling a lot of upsets, and he's beating a lot of guys he shouldn't over the last 4 or 5 fights. So tomorrow night's fight could be a very interesting one. The styles will clash a little bit too. So I would say ESPN Plus tomorrow night at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Now, do you know what boxing's top story of the week is?
You know, I've been a little busy, so I'm going to ask for a little bit of help here, other than the day story.
Title Bout 2 is going to be on computer version next week.
Well, now to me, that is monstrous news. That should have been plastered somewhere over my machine here.
Yeah.
So that is, you know what? If it's like the title bout we've all talked about,
yeah.
Trunzo really does develop that. That's fantastic because that's the whole. In my computer that's got 15 different games on it now with the Dave Koch games, that's the one that's the hugest hole. Don't have it. So can't wait. I didn't see that. So good update to me.
A post from Trunzo. They got the website going, and next week he said to expect computer boxing on it.
I mean, if you really want to make money, you got to have to do that. You got to put it on that format.
You can actually download it for free, play it a certain amount of bouts. You get a few bouts to play it just to get used to it. Then to play it further. But you get a chance to at least try it out first.
Kind of like the baseball guy, the guy that you introduced us to with the Sports Illustrated game. That's the way he did it too. Yeah. It's a good idea. That's the way to get people interested. So there's no product out there like this, so it could work. I mean, boxing's like hockey and maybe soccer. It's a cult following. If you get some product out there, it's good. People are going to buy it because there isn't any out there.
Well, I know 2 or 3 people here that are going to buy it. So
you do know that, yes.
3 out of 3 Duquesne alums prefer title bouts.
I have one thing to add that's not combat sports, and it's going to sound like I have man love for this player or whatever, but 4 forwards of your top 12 are out. People better appreciate number 87. What a sensational talent.
Agreed.
Last week against Anaheim, last night, even in the Winnipeg game, he didn't score much, but just his dominance of the ice, that's got to be some moment of the week. I mean, people better appreciate this guy. This is an all-time top 5. I'm sorry. I'm telling you. He picks his team up and lifts it on his back. So,
it's the 21st century. Your man love is good with us.
He's fantastic, man. I mean, I can't take my eyes off the guy even on television, what he's doing.
Nope.
So
there you go.
It's amazing.
Mr. Fox.
For me, he's always like Magic Johnson when I would go to see the Lakers game. That you knew at some point during that game he was going to do something that would absolutely amaze you. And
I agree.
Yes,
and they both have that incredible vision and to be able to see things that other players can't see. Their peripheral vision must be just off the charts.
I agree.
This is like an FU season for him. FU to people that doubted the Penguins.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a long way to go, but there's something that organization is doing right when you're plugging these Lafferty's in. Something there. That franchise was vilified by even Hockey News as 31st. Really? I don't know what I'm seeing. So
I looked this up last night from a magazine. I know you guys, the Sports Forecaster, which is one of my favorite preview magazines. And you look it up. Hang on one second. Let me get to Penguins here. I have to go past Philadelphia first. Wow. And you look at the rankings of their basically Lafferty and Johnson are at the bottom of their offensive rankings. Play. That's how these guys are coming out of the blue.
Yeah.
And Marino is not even on the ranking. So, I mean.
It just shows what an inexact science is, but also shows the system these guys are coming up through.
And that's exactly what it is.
Right.
And Garrett Cole and Tyler Glasnow are also indicative of the system they came up in, too. So it shows both sides of the gamut there.
Yeah.
What you got for us, Mr. Fletch?
I'm gonna start with two numbers, guys. 40 and 28.
68.
Very nice.
Very good. Very good execution.
So 40, of course, being the last time, 40 years ago is the last time the Pirates won a World Series.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
28 is the number of teams besides the Pirates that have made the World Series since that time has happened.
Yeah.
Just about every one other than. Yeah.
So, boys, I think we're looking at fandom that are going to be much like the 1908 Cubs or the 1918 Red Sox, that we may not see another Pirates winner in our lifetime. Just let that sink in for a second.
It's been sinking in for a long time, Fletch.
And here's something else. I mean, these guys, for that 79 team, they're getting up there too.
Oh, yeah.
Your youngest member of that team, Don Robinson, is now 62.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
And, you mentioned Garrett Cole. Nothing maybe signifies the problems of the Pirates more than Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was a good pitcher for the Pirates. He is a great pitcher for the Astros. And the reason why, I read an article this week where he talked about it. In his first meeting with the Astros coaching staff, and just how he was blown away by what they were telling him. They told him basically to get away from using the two-seamer, to start using his fastball higher in the strike zone. And guys, he hasn't lost since mid-May.
I know. And he's dominant at the end, too.
In the playoffs, he's even better.
Yeah, he's even better at the end, yeah.
So as we look at this team and we do a prognostication for the next couple of years, I'm going to quote the great Clubber Lang when they say, "Can I get a prediction?" I'm going to look at the camera and I'm going to see pain.
That's one of the best lines ever. Best movie lines ever. Yeah.
But
gotta
as
growl
Garrett
it,
said, and as you said, Dave, let's look across town for a second. And our Penguins. What a pleasant surprise through 7 games. It's early,
Yep.
but they've had some pretty bad injuries, including a spider bite, for Christ's sake. A spider bite.
Spider. One of the heavyweights just canceled a major fight in UK because of a spider bite.
Was it enough?
The spiders are mad. Boy.
But you would think you've gotten radioactive maybe and become Spider-Man or some shit like that. But this is a team that's playing as a unit. They're playing smart. They're not making those chances. They look quicker. You mentioned Crosby. Crosby this year, I didn't know they could go to another.
Hard to believe. It is hard to believe.
Yeah, at 32.
Hard to believe, man.
And Gensel's a scoring machine now. And last night, the game, and I'm loving the acquisition of Tannen. This guy is fast. He makes things happen.
And look at the penalty draws.
Bullet.
He's drawn a lot of penalties. You're exactly right. And the goal that he got last night, the shorthander to win it in overtime. First of all, the only other person in Penguin history to do that, Mr. Lemieux. That's the second time that's ever happened.
On a 4-on-3?
To win in overtime on a shorty.
Wow.
I mean, he's a Hagelin with a little more snarl, a little bit more touch.
Oh, I'm liking this. Not that there aren't some issues. I mean, as Gary said before, I think that they need to get a little bigger. Yep. Murray still has some glove hand issues.
Gloves are worry. Yeah, Dave and I talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
And the Jack Johnson contract just is stifling.
Yeah.
But guys, unlike the Pirates, I mean, I believe that Rutherford can make that adjustment. That team turned over 9 or 10 players from last year.
Yeah.
Will they win it all? Probably not, but, I'm enjoying what I see. And, we've said this before. It all comes down to who gets hot at the right time and if you get the right matchup in the playoffs. But, God, I'm enjoying watching this team.
It's a fun team, and what he does, I mean, what he said, we need to get faster. We need to get more aggressive. And I liked what he did. I didn't think I doubted they'd make the playoffs too, but you know what? They got faster and they got more aggressive, and it's making a difference. Marino he's blowing my mind.
I didn't know anything about him. Got a little nastiness, can skate. It's interesting. Yeah. it just shows the difference in the two organizations, as Chris has alluded to, and Dave, you said a couple times.
Yeah.
Penguins are plugging these kids in, and they're contributing right away. You know, the Pirates can't do that, and a lot of teams in the NHL can't do this. Like, they just can't plug that body in, and the guy's contributing.
But, you know, it's the whole development thing is what it comes down to again. I mean, Cole was talking about, you know, the Pirates are telling him to pitch to contact, and nobody's pitching to contact anymore.
Right.
If you got a body and an arm, he's a big horse, and you got an arm like that with that kind of movement, it's kind of stupid to be doing that.
Just look at their thought process in Latin America. They spend the money, but they go out and they sign a ton of players hoping they're gonna hit on one. And quite frankly, the only one they may hit on is the one they got from the Dodgers for Tony Watson.
Right. Yep.
Instead of going out and maybe getting few players, but trying to get guys who seem to have a little more talent and are scouted to be among the better in the region.
But I mean, here's the thing about that too, Dave. I mean, if any team should be able to succeed based on history in that area, it's the Pirates. I mean, they have the greatest Hispanic player.
Yep.
That should be enough. That should be opening out
enough in itself. Business card in itself. Yep.
But it's not. I mean, every time I read the story of Miguel Sano begging to come to Pittsburgh, and our dumb shit trying to play hardball with him to the point where he ended up as a superstar with Minnesota. I mean, it just. Yes, I agree. These players get stunted. They look good through Altoona, and then it gets stopped at that point. Some of that is the major league development. And from that aspect, I agree with letting go of some guys. But you know what? It stops at AA. It's scouting. It's a lot of things that aren't being addressed here. And quite frankly, there's no reason to believe that things are going to get any better.
Well, you know, I think in baseball, a little bit different than a sport like hockey, but I think I noticed, and it's funny, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we got other things to talk about, but if you guys should watch some of the behind the glass on the Philadelphia Flyers. Very interesting series on NHL Network, and Elaine Vigneault's in here now, and he's a take no shit kind of guy. Some of his comments are exactly what I've been saying, like in the hockey world. Hockey's a full year, they're all full year jobs now, but it's the conditioning in the off season. It's the workouts in the offseason, almost like football does. Good organizations do that. The Penguins are obviously doing that. Why they can plug these people in. Yeah. Some of these other organizations, like the one here, every year we start out mediocre, out of shape. What's going on in the offseason?
Yeah.
I mean, have a program. Put people in. And if you're not that, and the guys who won't get in line with that, there's some of the guys I also let go, whether they're talented or not.
Yeah.
It just seems like the Pirates don't have a clue for this kind of stuff. Like not necessarily baseball is the same as the other sports, but come on. I mean, get the machine going. That's a cheap way to be effective. And I thought the best thing that happened in baseball this year was, other than the Yankees and Houston adding a few, although Houston is really a development situation, most of the teams that won, even the Dodgers to some degree with all the kids that were playing.
Oh, definitely.
They're developing talent. They're not going out and buying it. They're not just haphazard. They got a system going. Emulate it.
Dave, do the Pirates win again in our lifetime?
They get to the playoffs, but they don't win a World Series now. Unless he sells the team. Or, wow, Entresto is showing me lines again. Everything goes down. Nothing goes up.
Down into the left.
But no, I don't think they do under this regime. I don't think they get the star talent, which is what you need inevitably. So
my concern is the city's so small that I don't even think this owner, whether he's wealthy or not, I don't know all the background like you guys do. I just hope Pittsburgh almost needs a corporate backer.
Well, he
really buys into the city and makes it a regional franchise.
I disagree. He has enough pockets. He's just not willing to spend.
He's a businessman. He's not a baseball man. That's the difference. He knows how to make money. He doesn't. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to win like the baseball fan who is a baseball fan only when a team wins and comes and doesn't really know much about the game.
Okay. I'm not out there, so I have to defer to you guys. But I do think that sometimes money doesn't make success, but it certainly can help. And I just the part I worry about is like if he were to gone, I think it needs a total overhaul. But if he were gone, who's going to come in and buy it?
Or he needs to just have a change of heart on how he's going to run the team. But
that'd be the simplest answer.
But that's not going to happen. But he's not the only clueless man in the sports world.
Oh, God, no.
Another one could be the guy who gave me the greatest NBA moment I've ever had by leading my Cavaliers to a title in 2016. But he's going to win our ass of the week.
There you go. There's the prop.
Bush. Now, I'm going to tell you, if I'm Commissioner Silver, I'm pissed at Darryl Motley's post.
Yep.
He wasn't wrong in what he put. But you know what? If I'm running a business and I got my business here for the week, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
And I agree with the fact that it puts players who are playing there a little uncomfortable.
Yep.
So I agree with what he says, but I see why people are pissed off at why he said it. And I would be if I was Adam Silver. That being said, LeBron has taken on many controversial issues without a problem. But Andrew Bogut said it in the first place, don't come out and say you're uninformed. He's not uninformed, okay? He's saying the right thing. And you are going in your own controversial way here and thinking, I don't care who I'm hurting, and that's fine. It's free speech. But then to tell somebody else they're uninformed because they make the same thing, it's all about the money. It's all about because all of a sudden LeBron was being made uncomfortable, and that's not okay. And stupidly, rather than shutting up because you think apparently the world is going to turn on your every thought and agree with you all the time, a whole country is now burning LeBron in effigy. Andrew Bogut said it best. Everyone has a cause until the cause costs them money. And that's
pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate.
You want to take on, he owns part of Liverpool. And Liverpool had an issue with the star player, Philip Coutinho, a few years ago. He wanted to break his contract and go to Spain. And they're negotiating this thing when LeBron sticks his nose in and basically tweets, just let him go. What are you guys doing? Again, they're trying to get money for this guy and help the organization, and he sticks his nose in there. That's uninformed, okay? What Motley said, whereas it might piss me off, was anything but uninformed. The guy was right in what he said. I just understand why Silver would be pissed, but Silver was smart enough not to say anything about it. LeBron is the ass statement of the week. It is just a statement that shows how hypocritical some people can be, some star athletes can be. Enos Kanter, who certainly has his issues, left Turkey. His family has been certainly abused in Turkey since then.
Yeah.
He basically comes out and takes a backhanded shot at him, basically supporting the right to talk against things that are wrong in the world and not back off because it's going to cost you some money. So LeBron shows he's an ass in my thoughts.
Well, the NBA wants it both ways.
Yeah,
definitely.
They want to be able to open up the China market.
Yeah,
because it's very lucrative.
Sure.
But unfortunately, they're also seeming to want the way that the Chinese tamp down on freedom of speech. And you can't have it both ways.
Nope.
Dave, I agree with you. The guy's timing was bad. And Silver did play that well. I'm sure he took him behind the woodshed, but he did it privately.
Right.
But, you got to be careful who you're getting in bed with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And LeBron James did himself no favors. And, LeBron's done a lot of good. I mean, he's done a lot of things with his school. He's supported a lot of great causes. But to come out and say that you're uninformed, man, I lost a lot of respect for him right at that point.
Absolutely. I mean, I understand the fact that they were uncomfortable with what was going on while they were playing there. Got that fact. But that's not what he said. He basically said
the other thing that disturbed me that's closely related to this, and this happened in Philadelphia during that game, there was a fan who held up signs that were, talking about, the situation there, and they asked him to take it down, and they escorted him out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was – what do you do?
You can't do that. You can't have it both ways.
No. That was a bad reaction by them. And according to Gary, we see those bad reactions all the time there. But
I mean, this is a powder keg. If you remember the Mike Figgis movie Crash, this has become a real powder keg back here in East, particularly Philadelphia, I think, in a lot of regards. So I think they're nervous about some stuff here to begin with what's been going on in this city for a lot of something happened today that I'm not really sure what the effect's going to be. We had a real estate developer, young guy, got in an argument, gets stabbed in the back, and they acquitted. It was an African-American who stabbed him. They acquitted him. How could you acquit him? He stabbed the guy in the back and killed him. So there's a lot of powder keg here. I'm not supporting what the Sixers do. The Sixers are a phony organization. Ever since they got bought by this guy, Harris, it's a facade. They're a bunch of frauds. And honestly, I'm going to be careful here. I think the whole NBA, I think Chris hit the nail on the head. The NBA is becoming like the NFL to me. It's a hypocrite. NFL would talk about, the United Way stuff, and then all these bums beating up women and 5-21 with criminal records and stuff like that. Coaches saying, I don't care about that. I'm just interested in my personnel. The NBA is getting dangerously close to that kind of stuff, that hypocrisy. And I think James, unfortunately, he should be smarter, and he is the bum of the week because he knows that his mic is always in his face. So he's got to be more. He's got to be like Crosby. He's got to be more guarded. You can say he's phony, whatever. He's got to be more guarded.
Well, he's got to know what he's saying. I mean, you want to criticize again. Right. I feel uncomfortable there. I don't have a problem with him feeling irritated at the general manager, but to say he's uninformed, he's very much well informed. I mean, the guy. We can all see what's going on there.
Right. I mean, I think LeBron should have said it's unfortunate the timing of what he said.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all he has to say.
Or deal with it
in this case.
Behind like he should have. That's the way it should have been taken care of. But anyways.
The media is creating one headache, though, and I'll just add this lost thought in. When we're referring to these guys by first name all the time, particularly ESPN again, the mic's in their face every time they're eating breakfast. This kind of stuff is going to exacerbate and get worse, I think. It's too much. Okay, I don't need Russell Westbrook's opinion on social issues all the time. The leaders that we talk about, Kareem and guys like that in the past, didn't do it that way. They didn't do stuff that way. I know it's a different world, but to me, that's a big part of this issue as well.
All right. Well, Gary, Fletch, you and I need to get some hats and go for a very quick prediction round. Gary?
I guess I don't really have a great prediction. So you're getting your hat, Dave. I think my prediction was probably going to be on the World Series. I guess right now that's the best I got. I just think it's going to be a long World Series. It could be a very tight one. It's going to be a fun one, I think. A lot of low-scoring games and a tight one.
Right.
I watch them all be 10-9 games like that Dodger-Astros series. So.
Could be, man. Could be.
I don't have much this week.
Fletch Mo King.
Well, guys, I'm going to give a little credit to Gary here because a number of times he said these wise words. Look at the schedule.
Yep.
And I'm looking at the Steelers schedule, and I see them going probably 9-7, 10-6, and surprisingly coming from where they were to possibly winning a division title. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? And with the way they've played the other two teams, I think they're the best team in the division. I think they're better than Brady. Shouldn't lost that game.
Yep. Looked great the last time out.
Okay, I like that.
Up north,
that's not chump change they were chewing up there.
No.
That's not one of the league's worst teams. That's a middle-of-the-road team that's got some talent on it. They chewed them up.
Yeah. No, it was a good performance. So you're saying win the division 10-6, 9-7. All right.
Big factor in the NFL, the schedule.
Well, for me, I'm going to need both of you here.
Uh-oh.
Put your 10 fingers up, Fletch. Now, Gary, put your one up. 11-2 now. 11-2 in the CFL.
Wow.
Calgary winning.
I'm telling you, man. I saw it too. Saw it on Sunday. I was looking at the scores and stuff. I saw it. It's amazing.
Oh.
You're tied in, man. You're a Canuck at heart, Dave.
I must be. I'm looking here. I'm trying to. Okay, here's where it's going. All right. Alouette, Jante Alouette. I like singing that song. Who doesn't? You like singing that song?
It's either that or Frere Jacques. One of the two.
All right. We can go back and forth with both. You can sing the Frere Jacques. I can sing the Alouette. People will dig it.
When the playoffs.
Argonetta? Would you sing Argonetta?
I'll sing Poutine.
You can sing Poutine, but you would never sing Argonetta, would you?
No, I would not.
Okay. I don't know who would at this point. But I like song. I know you like song too, Fletch.
I do.
I've never heard you sing, Gary, so I don't know if you like
I don't think you want to, but go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So
I'm pretty poor.
I think we have to go with our song here. Alouette, come on, Fletch, let's sing with me. Sing with me.
Oh man, I haven't had it. Oh, I'm out of beer. I can't.
I was going to say we need to rehearse that. Now I say when the playoffs start, we should have it down. I'll even try. I'll
The
look it up.
Alouette, Alouette, Jante, Alouette, Alouette, Jante,
You guys even have
Kumar.
the right hats on for crying out loud.
These are Canadian hats, and I think
Yeah,
the
I'm saying
Canadian
the
hat
right
with the
hats
hockey
on.
jersey looks good, if I can say so myself. Can I say that?
I'm telling you, you are color coded there.
So Alouette will easily defeat the Argos, Argonetta. Argonetta seems like the end of the world in Canadian. Yeah.
Or Stop Action. One of like the Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
like
that's
it.
a
Batman
big
cartoon.
rivalry, Montreal and Toronto. Those cities, that's a big rivalry always. So
Yeah. It's a big rivalry that's not going to be a rivalry. Will they play it in an Olympic Stadium? I don't think so. I don't know.
no.
I don't know where.
Way Park Jury.
Could be at Park Cherie. That's a tennis court.
I'd tune that one in.
That's a tennis court. Let's tune in. Let's tune in Friday night, October 8th, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The hell with Pitt Syracuse. Let's tune in to
Or Penguins Dallas. Yeah, forget all that.
that's on a third TV. I'm working, so I'll have to use my
Want to
phone
give you updates?
to stay in tune. Please give me Montreal, Toronto updates. But anyways, people, you have a great evening.
You too.
Our
All
website.
right, gentlemen. Until the next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.